Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. We are talking about the big breaking news today that allegedly Manchester City are on the verge of making a huge and monumental signing ahead of the upcoming summer transfer window in the form of one Erling Haaland, the man very much in demand right now across Europe and the world. A man that is one of the hottest prospects and properties in world football right now. It seems that he is on the verge of joining and being the latest addition to the ever-growing squad and pool of oozing with depth and quality that is Manchester City. We're going to be talking all about this breaking news story, how Haaland is on the verge of joining the club, what this has for an effect on Manchester City and of course the teams around them and the teams in Europe, of course. We're going to be talking all about this big breaking news story. But before we go any further, I would like to quickly remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things are always and probably greatly appreciated. But for now, let's get into this story because this is huge. This is monumental. This is, of course, surrounding Manchester City, a club like not short of cash, a club that has got a squad that is just oozing with talent and quality. They are set to add another piece to that puzzle. They are set to add another member to their squad that is going to arguably plug a massive gap in their squad, and I'll explain later as to why that is. But of course, regarding Erling Haaland, we've known that this day has been coming for some time now. We have known that there have been rumours going around for years that obviously this day will come where he finally gets a massive move. Like, Dortmund is huge, don't get me wrong, no disrespect to Dortmund, but of course they are a selling club, they are a stepping stone kind of club. And after seeing Haaland jump around a couple of European leagues in the past few years, Dortmund was just a gateway to a massive club in terms of what they're doing right now. And obviously, Manchester City fit that bill. There were obviously a lot of other European clubs, top-tier European clubs that were obviously, for obvious reasons, interested in signing Erling Haaland because of what he brings to the table and what he can do on a football pitch. But it seems that Manchester City are on the verge of signing him. Yesterday, Mike Keegan of the Daily Mail reported, stating, exclusive, Man City agreed terms over $500k a week deal to sign Erling Haaland, which would make him the Premier League's highest paid player, with Pep Guardiola's side set to trigger the Dortmund striker's £63 million release clause, which would work out at about 75 million euros, give or take. And overall, this is why the deal can be wrapped up so quickly. This is why the deal can be pretty much set before the transfer window even opens this summer, because of the release clause. It's just about agreeing personal terms. There's no other negotiations to be had between the clubs. It's just basically Manchester City have to go to Haaland. They have to go to his representatives, Mino Raiola. Great, they had to deal with that guy. And they just had to basically agree personal terms, agree everything that is to be a part of the package that is him. Because let's face it, the £63 million price tag for a striker of his quality, for a player of his age, it just seems like a no-brainer for that part of the deal. It's all about agreeing those personal terms. And like I say, that's why this deal is seemingly wrapped up pretty quickly, all things considered. It's being said that Dortmund did try to eliminate that release clause, which is understandable given, like I say, what he brings to a squad and his ability and his talent. And let's face it, with all that being said, it's kind of a cut price deal. Like I say, it's seemingly a no-brainer that you'd sign a player of his ability and his age for this kind of price, especially considering that, of course, last summer there was a certain Romelu Lukaku who signed for Chelsea for over 100 million, and that hasn't turned out to be quite the signing that the Blues would have hoped for. So fingers crossed for City fans, obviously, that this turns out to be a great addition to their side, which on paper and with everything that we know about Haaland looks set to be. And for Dortmund, yeah, they probably missed out on maybe doubling or maybe even tripling or something along them lines, their price tag for their star man. But that was always going to be the risk that was going to be paid given obviously the deal that was set out when he did originally sign from RB Salzburg, and going forward that was always going to be the case unless Dortmund proved that they could actually overthrow Bayern Munich and make massive waves in European competitions. They were very unlikely to keep hold of Haaland going forward. We've known for a while that the only thing lacking in this Manchester City squad, this incredible Manchester City squad, is the strength in the strikers position. And it's been evident even this season, despite being obviously currently top of the table. In the games that they have dropped points, Manchester City have seemingly been crying out for a clinical, top quality striker up front to lead the line for them. We saw that in games against Crystal Palace, we saw that in games against Tottenham, that they just were lacking a sort of clinical striker to really get them across the finish line in those kinds of games. And we've obviously known that for a while. We knew that that may be the reason why they may lose out on certain titles and certain trophies. We knew that that could possibly be the reason why they're doing that. Obviously, things are going well right now. They are still in a good position in the Champions League to make it through to the final. They're, of course, like I say, top of the table. But in certain games, we have seen them quite vulnerable, especially when against solid defences, that they are lacking a sort of clinical edge in the attacking third. Haaland can definitely provide that. We did also see last summer that they did pursue Harry Kane for a large part of the summer. Obviously, we now know that Kane remained a Tottenham player after failing to agree with Tottenham on a fee and everything that went along with that. That saga now seems to be put to rest. The ship seems to have sailed on that particular transfer story, because it seems that City are moving on to the next best thing, and that is Erling Haaland. He seems to be the man that's going to be plugging that striker's gap at the Etihad, and he'll obviously be following in his father's footsteps. His father obviously played for Manchester City during his time as a player. Haaland will be following in his footsteps, it seems, assuming that this deal crosses the line, which there doesn't seem to be any reason or indication that that will happen, and could be agreed seemingly within the next week or so. Could be announced within the next week, it's being said. For Haaland himself, we've seen him be built up in the Norwegian league with Molde. He scored 20 goals in 50 appearances whilst over there as a young teenager. He's then grown into the latter stage of his teenage years with Red Bull Salzburg, as we mentioned before. He scored 29 goals in 27 appearances for the Austrian side. He continued to make a name for himself and announce himself to the footballing world with the Austrian club. And then, of course, came a big transfer where he moved to the Bundesliga. He moved to Borussia Dortmund. And again, he's absolutely smashed it in the Bundesliga. He scored 82 goals in 85 appearances for the German outfit. An absolute phenomenal record. You don't need me to tell you that. So you can see that as time has progressed, as he's aged, as he's obviously gotten into tougher leagues throughout his early career, he has risen to the challenge time and time again. And even on a European stage, you look at his Champions League record, it's absolutely sensational. He scored 23 goals in 19 appearances on the Champions League stage. The guy is an absolute machine in front of goal, and it's a scary prospect considering that he's now joining one of the best clubs, or the best club arguably, one of the best in my opinion, in Manchester City. Like I say, he's an absolute beast in front of goal. Even this season alone, he's still managed to score 25 goals for Dortmund in 26 appearances in all competitions. And that is even more impressive when you consider that he's actually had a bit of an injury hit campaign. He's had a couple of injuries here and there throughout this season, and he's managed to still register 25 goals in 26 appearances, and also register 8 assists in that time as well. This guy, I don't think he's human. He's an absolute freak, like in the best way possible. He's absolutely incredible. What an incredible talent he is. You don't need me to tell you that, but I'm going to say it anyway. He's an incredible talent. His goal record speaks for itself, but he's also got the attributes and top quality attributes of that make him a perfect all-round striker. He's big, he's strong, he's incredibly pacey, he's fast, he's good in the air, he's got good hold-up play, his playmaking is to a decent standard in bringing others into play and flicking on headers and all that kind of thing. His knowledge and his understanding of the game is top quality. His positioning is exceptional for a striker of his age. But of course, above all else, you pay your strikers to score goals, and that is exactly what he does. He's an ice-cold killer in front of goal. So prolific and clinical when it comes to scoring goals and sticking the ball into the back of the net. Even with what you consider half chances, Haaland is still lethal at taking those. And the scary part of this all is, as I mentioned before, he's only 21 years of age. He's only 21 years of age. He's got plenty of football ahead of him in his career, plenty of years ahead of him. Time is on his side in this aspect. And he's about to arguably join an elite manager, one of the best that football has ever seen, in Pep Guardiola. He's about to join Manchester City, join Pep Guardiola. He's going to join a team that is already full of creativity, speed, talent and flair. He's about to join a manager that will know how to get even more out of him if that's possible. And he is going to absolutely thrive at that club, playing with a team that Manchester City currently possess and a manager that they have in Pep Guardiola. He is going to help raise his game, continue to elevate his game, and help him grow and evolve and become even more lethal. And that is an absolute nightmare for any defence that Manchester City come up against. Add him to the players that Manchester City already have at their disposal. Add him to the creativity, the speed, the flair that the majority of the City players have. You look at the likes of João Cancelo and Kyle Walker providing crosses and assistance from the wing positions. You look at Bernardo Silva through the middle. You look at Phil Foden, the pace, the directness and the speed and everything that he possesses, along with the likes of Raheem Sterling and Riyad Mahrez, all playing alongside Erling Haaland. He is only going to get better. And I haven't even mentioned Kevin De Bruyne. Of course, Kevin De Bruyne. He is going to feast on so many goals just because of Kevin De Bruyne. There's going to be tons of goal scoring records that are going to be smashed because of them kind of players, but De Bruyne in particular, I'm already backing it now that should everything go ahead and go as planned as what we are seeing right now, if obviously they remain fit throughout the entirety of the season, don't go down with any injuries, no suspensions, that kind of thing, I'm already backing that De Bruyne and Haaland are going to absolutely tear up assist and goal records for next season. They're going to have some serious numbers recorded for the end of next season, and they're going to be the stuff of nightmares for Premier League defenders. It's going to be incredible to watch from a neutral, and I hate saying that because obviously I'm a Liverpool fan and I wanted to see, and I want to see Liverpool obviously manage to overcome these kinds of odds and these kinds of things. But if I am to kind of be neutral for a second, it's going to be incredible to watch. It's going to be slightly painful to watch, but it's going to be incredible to watch this kind of football and these kinds of players come together and play this kind of way, the Pep Guardiola way, of course. Like I say, for City, they're going to love him. City fans are going to love him. The City players are going to love him. They're going to love having that vocal point up front, the striker to play off and lead the attack that they've been crying out for a few seasons now. I think City have lacked that kind of killer instinct up front for a few seasons. Yes, they've obviously had the likes of Sergio Aguero and Gabriel Jesus, but let's face it, Aguero towards the end of his time at City was injury prone, didn't really have a consistent number of games up front, and Gabriel Jesus wasn't really firing on all cylinders during that time either. So it's just incredible that now they can have that, and now they're going to have that, and it's going to be even more incredible of a Manchester City side that we're going to see for next season, like I say, should this all get over the line. Because like I say, in the past few seasons, in the points that they've dropped, in the games where they've lacked, they have seemingly lacked in that attacking third. Haaland, like I say, would definitely plug that gap. Not really much more to say on that, to be honest. And overall, that's why you probably say that Haaland is going to be the final piece in this jigsaw of dominance. Of course, you could make certain improvements. You can make improvements to the depth and everything like that. But as far as dominance goes for Pep Guardiola, which is what he's wanted ever since he's obviously came into English football, he's wanted to dominate with Manchester City. This is seemingly the final piece in that puzzle. This is the guy that can increase City's chances, already good chances at that, but he can even more increase their chances of winning multiple trophies within a single season, and be able to do that on a consistent basis. Like, if City don't win the Champions League this season, they increase their chances automatically with this signing for next season. He increases their chances of winning everything, from the Premier League to the Carabao Cup to the FA Cup to, like I say, the Champions League. He increases their chances of everything because, like I say, the one thing that we've seen from City where they sometimes lack is, in the final third, someone leading the line, someone putting away some of them chances. Like I say, we've seen it in a few games this season. We saw it even in a couple of games last season, even despite the fact that City obviously ran away with the league last campaign. We saw it in a couple of games then, that sometimes City do lack a proper striker up front. Haaland gives them that. Total Football is set to be released, and he is going to feast on goals because of the support and the quality that is going to be around him. An upgrade from Dortmund, with all due respect, but with everything that he's got going on around him, and with Pep Guardiola as his manager, he is going to only improve, and that is obviously going to be an incredible thing for Manchester City. Just a slight question mark and a slight thing that we have to mention that is probably going to dampen the whole thing a little bit, but his injury record this season. We alluded to it earlier. He did pick up 2 or 3 injuries this season that have seen him kind of have a stop-start campaign, despite obviously his goal record still being incredible and phenomenal. Look, there's no secret and it's no shock that footballers pick up injuries. It happens, obviously. There's no point in me trying to cover that. But you would hope that these aren't going to be reoccurring injuries. You would hope that this is just basically a young player having to deal with a couple of injuries here and there that basically happen in football and basically will happen in the early stages of his career. And you just hope that they won't become too much of a reoccurring factor that will see his career kind of stop, or see his career kind of falter and stutter a little bit. So you hope that that's not the case. It's unlikely that that's the case. It just seems like it's just football. It's just the life of a footballer. But it was worth mentioning because a couple of people that I've seen have kind of brought up that argument. Look, even with those injuries, he's still phenomenal. Some players, when they have a stop-start campaign, don't really pick up where they left off in terms of their goal scoring. He's seemingly had no issue with that whatsoever. And like I say, this is going to be an incredible transfer for Manchester City. And of course, they've only just begun because the summer window isn't even open yet. And it seems that Manchester City are on the verge of making their first signing of the summer, Erling Haaland. Just let that sink in for just a second, because that is incredible. And if you're a rival fan, of course, you're looking at your team and you're asking them to respond. If you're Manchester United, you've already had a poor car crash of a season. You're looking at them now and saying, what are you going to do this summer to respond to not just this, but to get us back to where we want to be? Obviously, Ten Hag's coming in. It's going to be interesting to see what he does. If you're Chelsea, you're looking at Romelu Lukaku and the money that was spent on him last year, and you're thinking, we could have got, if we'd have waited a year longer, Haaland for less money. Well, Chelsea's future is up in the air anyway, but you're looking at Chelsea, what are they going to do with that kind of proposition thrown at them? Liverpool, how are they going to respond? Like, they've done incredible to bridge the gap to City this season already. It seems like now they've got to try and bridge that gap again. What's their response going to be this summer? All of these teams have got things to do and things to look at in-house as to how they're going to respond to this groundbreaking announcement that Erling Haaland is on the verge of joining Manchester City. But of course, as I always say, guys, this is just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of this big breaking news story that Erling Haaland is allegedly on the verge of joining Manchester City from Borussia Dortmund? What are your own thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, down below in the comment section. I'm sure it'll all make for interesting reading on this subject. Otherwise, hit that like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Both things always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video. And I will see and speak to you all again soon in another video.